So Anna, I got cut off as I was telling you a little bit about Stain's comment to me during the break. As you recall, he said, you know, Ernie, it was nice to have a lot of savings and earnings in the millions of dollars. It more than paid for the cost of the program. But what really impressed me was that these guys have changed behavior, changed attitude. He said, I've been walking around and looking at these guys during this last 8 months to see, is there any change? And he said, I'm happy to say that there has been significant change. In fact, one of our coaches did a research on transformative change, and we have that research to document that change. So it's a wonderful way of addressing your question of how do we know that there is real change. Yeah. I'd like to tell you one other quick story in that Volvo Truck program, because it stands out and it illustrates one of the aspects of the way we set up these programs. We put people in teams where as much diversity as possible, so from different regions, if it's a global program, different cultures, obviously gender, age, and the function that they're working on. So we have people from HR, from legal, from sales, from marketing. And so what that does, it helps them learn about the holistic nature of the business. So they're looking at systemic things that have to happen inside a company. And they're given a challenge that is not in their area of expertise. And that allows them to ask some wonderful questions like, why have we been doing this anyway? One of the clients was the head of Poland for Volvo Truck, and he came to Ava and he said, I have a big challenge. I'm losing market share to Mercedes because our parts and service is not working. It's not competitive. We have truckers who are coming to our dealers and saying, my truck broke down, I have flowers on the truck, and those flowers die within days or hours if they're not on the road again. And they were having a difficult time getting parts into Poland from their factory in Ghent in enough time. It was taking sometimes 2 weeks. Mercedes could get their parts and service into Poland within 24 hours. So people were starting to say, you know, you got a great truck, but I can't get the parts and service if I get a breakdown, so I'm going to go with Mercedes. And so they're losing market share. So this guy came and he said, I got a challenge. Please, can you have one of your teams work with me on this challenge? So it was a team that had no expertise in parts and service. They came in, worked with this guy and his team, and they solved it. So they were able to go from 2 weeks to 8 hours. Okay. And you know what they did? They said, why have we been using big trucks? They discovered that at the border, big trucks had to wait a lot longer than small trucks. So they had been taking a big truck with all kinds of parts from Ghent into Poland, into Warsaw, and it got stuck at the border, and they couldn't cross because these big trucks took a lot longer. So they said, let's get little trucks. These little trucks can go through right like that. So they just changed the trucks to get the parts and servicing. It's a very simple solution, but it only happened because people started looking at what is the process, what's the chain, and asking, why are we doing this anyway? So sometimes the answer is very simple. It comes often from within the company. You don't have to go outside and look at best practice. Look at good practice inside the company and find out what's happening. So you wanted to know a little bit about...
Yeah, about team and coach and certification program. What is TCCP and how does it work?
Okay. Our team coach certification program is the latest edition of our primary 4 services, our core services. As I explained to you earlier, we have this triangle with 4 different services. The executive coaching, high-performing team process, which I've told you about. We just finished talking a little bit about the leadership development program. The team coach certification program came a few years ago out of a request of a company, said it actually, another Swedish company, SKF, a ball bearing company, and the head of HR said, Ernie, we want to use LIM, we want to use action reflection learning, we don't want to use our business schools any longer because they're getting a good theory, but they don't have the kind of practice. And your approach has been mentioned to us by a number of people that this is the best way to link theory and practice and help leadership really come to life in a company. So we want to do that. We can't afford your coaches. How can we do this? This was during the financial depression of 2007. He said, we're going to go through with the leadership development program, but we want to use action, reflection, learning, we want to use LIM, but we can't afford you. So I said, okay, what we will do is create a new service and sell it to you. You'll be the first one to use it. It's going to be our Team Coach Certification Program. And what it will do, it will allow you to develop, with our support, your HR business partners and your OD, organization development partners, and your learning and development partners internally so they can become coaches, team coaches. And we will run this program before the leadership development program. So they can work on the leadership development program like our coaches would. I will develop them, and I will be the mentor coach for the leadership development program. So we created that program in 2007. Since then, we've been running it in a variety of places in Mexico, and in South America, we're using a Team Coach Certification Program, primarily for external coaches. In Asia, we've been doing it for internal HR, OD people. And really what it is, it's very similar to a leadership development program. It's 3 modules. Each module is 3 days, spread over time. In each module, they're divided into teams, working on real projects with an internal client from the company, so they're understanding what it means to work in a team, to share leadership, to become a consultant, to learn consulting skills, learn project management skills, but primarily to learn about coaching. So we're looking very carefully at what are our coaches doing and working with them so they can learn the coaching process.
And do you have example?
Yes. Just recently I've been working in China with 3 different companies, AstraZeneca, Merck Sharp & Dohme, and Standard Chartered Bank. And with MSD, Merck Sharp & Dohme, which is one of our biggest clients, one of the graduates came to me and he said, Ernie, I've got an internal client and their status is much higher than mine, and so it would be almost presumptuous of me to come in and tell them what to do as a coach. Could you coach with me, team coach, and we could work together? So I'm working with him now on one of his senior clients in the organization, the head of research, and we're working on a high-performing team project with him. And what we've done, I've actually written this book, Gentle Interventions for Team Coaching, that allows the coaches to understand a lot of the concepts, tools, skills that help a team coach become a better team coach. And this also is helpful for teams and for team leaders.
I have 2 more questions, but I think that we can cut and then come back.
Okay.
That's okay for you?
So, yeah, one of the questions that I think is critical, it's often on people's minds, how do we measure success again? Really very similar, looking at the results of those particular projects. So we have a tangible on the fish, get a project that can get off and running in the company, and then most importantly, the fishing. So how do these people take and use their skills? The program itself, they have to have an exam, an oral exam, a written exam. They're reading a couple books. They have to attend all the workshops, and at the end they get a certificate.
Very nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I hope you can pass all this information on as well.
Thank you very much.
And thank you. Okay.